All right, welcome back to Getting Your MBA in Internet Marketing. This is the second cause of a seven-figure internet business. And if I had filmed this, I don't know, 5 years ago, this probably wouldn't even be in the program. But today is number 2. If I filmed this 3 years from now, it'll probably end up being number 1. And it is social media. All right, it is social media. There's a reason I'm putting it this high. And before I actually start talking about that, I want to go into how the mainstream defines social media, like the actual Webster's definition of social media versus the truth about social media. So I have it here. It's on paper, so you know it's honest. The official definition from Merriam-Webster's Dictionary of social media. They say it is websites and applications that enable users to create and share content or to participate in social networking, okay? Websites and applications enable users to create and share their content, or they can even participate in social networking. What's the real definition of social media, though? Okay, here's what it is. It is websites and applications that enable users to create and market content to acquire and retain customers. If you are causing a seven-figure internet business to happen for you, the point of social media is not to create and share content, and it's not to participate in a social network, okay? So instead of creating and sharing content, it's to create and market content. And it's not to participate in social networking, it's to acquire and retain customers, all right? I remember a couple of years ago, 2015, I'm hanging out with Dan Bilzerian, who you guys know Dan, fairly well-known guy with 37 bazillion followers on Instagram or something. I think if you look, just to give you like perspective, I think Oprah has like 19 million followers like on Facebook and Instagram, maybe like 20, it's like in the 20s at the most if you combine them, okay? Dan has almost 40 million, okay? He almost has twice as many followers as Oprah does on social media. That's pretty ridiculous. And first of all, for those that don't know him, yeah, he's got an image, and this is such an important lesson, I think, for everyone here and everyone at home, is he has an image that he has created for himself on social media, not to participate in social networks and not to create and share content. He has created an image for himself to create and market content, market himself, to acquire and retain, now it's customers. Before it was acquire and retain followers, but now he has a business. Now he's actually created a business and he's making a lot of money from it, from his online business. And we're sitting there and it's, I don't know, 1 or 2 a.m. and it's late. I was sober. And we were just talking about different, everything from dating and girls to lifting and stories, all this kinds of stuff. And then we started talking about social media. And honestly, there's a lot of people who claim to be experts on social media, and all of them are good at social media. But when someone who has almost 40 million followers on social media starts talking about social media, you listen, right? It's like there's a lot of guys who write great business books out there and management books, but I'd rather learn from Jack Welch about management than someone who just spent 4 years studying people like Jack Welch and then wrote a book about it from that person's third-party perspective. Does that make sense to everybody? Right? So when Dan starts talking about it, I'm gonna listen. And he showed me some things with Instagram that is cool and their little tactics and they're fine. But the biggest thing that I got from it is he's just talking. He's just blah, 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 blah. And he's like, the thing is, everyone thinks that social media is about being social. Like, they shouldn't have named it social media. It's not about being social, okay? It's about marketing. It's not about social. It's about marketing. Anyone who uses social media to just socialize and they think that they're there just to go to other people's houses and just, hey, how you doing? Hey, what's up? How are you? Haven't seen you since high school. How are you? And they think they're just connecting is a buffoon. Because the whole point of it, the only reason I have all these followers is because when I started, I understood I was marketing an image, right? The image you see on his Instagram is not what his life is like. It is highlights, maybe 10% of his life is like that, but they're gonna take pictures and videos of that. They might do a photo shoot and get 16 pictures out of it, and then over the next 16 days, release one by one with people during different outfits and different backdrops and different sceneries, so it looks like he's doing this stuff every single day. Does that make sense to everybody? This is how all the social media is. This is how all of it is. So it might even be worthwhile for you in your brain to go, you know what, it's not social media. It's just marketing. You just look at it as another marketing platform. Right? It's not social media, it's marketing media. The same way that when you write an email to your subscribers, you're marketing. In the same way that you write a sales letter, it's about marketing. When you go to put something on Instagram, when you go to put something on Facebook, when you go to put something on YouTube, it's just marketing. It's just another marketing channel. And that's such a big thing for so many people, because if you started with social media thinking that it was about being social and connecting with your friends, and that's your first impression, it's gonna be hard for you to make that switch in your mind, right? Like, who here remembers the day they first started on Facebook? And remember the first time you signed up for a Facebook account? You do? Yeah. What did you do like that first week on Facebook as you're like learning this new terrain?
I was trying to add as many friends as possible. It was like beginning of high school and all the cool kids were doing that. The party invitations were going out on Facebook. If I just get on Facebook, I'm gonna get invited to all the parties.
All the parties.
Just friending everybody.
Right? You're just trying to connect with everybody. You're just like, be my friend, be my friend. Love me, right? Love me. That's it. And if we never go back and and when that happens and you're taking those actions, your evaluation of Facebook is this is about making friends with people, right? It's another way to connect with people. That's bullshit, right? We need to go back, and for everyone here and everyone at home, you need to make the switch. Facebook is not about connecting with people. Facebook is marketing yourself, your company, and your image to the world. Instagram is about marketing yourself, your company, and your image and your products to the world. Same as YouTube. All of it, that's why it exists. It exists for you and you alone. I understand it's a narcissistic attitude, but take it. Okay, it exists for you and you alone to market your business, your products, your services, and your image. And that's it. That's the only reason that it exists. And a second aside, I was in Arizona a few months ago hanging out with Joe Polish, who is a brilliant marketer, former Dan Kennedy student. He's very good friends with Richard Branson and Tony Robbins and Peter Diamandis and some of these people. And he was just talking about how, for a guy who doesn't use social media, he knows marketing, doesn't use social media. It's allowed him to have a certain perspective on it, right? Because if we're in it, it's kind of hard to see the forest through the trees. But he's just in a helicopter looking down at all of us, right? Because he won't touch social media. And just from looking at it and knowing marketing and knowing psychology and knowing sales, he made an amazing observation. He told me, he said, Jason, listen, social media, you have to understand, is either people are going to use it on you or you are going to use it on them. And that's it. There's no gray zone. There's no in between. Either they're going to use it against you or you must use it on them. And we combine that understanding with understandings about marketing ourselves, our product, our service, and our image, it becomes really, really clear on what we need to do using social media, okay? So the two biggest realizations I have from this is, one, again, we must use social media to market ourselves, product, services, and our image to the world. But two is that social media is the future of customer acquisition and relationships, okay? If you are running a business right now and you rely on affiliates and organic traffic and SEO and PPC and Facebook ads to get your customers, that's great. But I've seen the future, and 3 years from now, you're gonna get your customers through word of mouth, not through buying ads. Yeah, Facebook ads will work a little bit, but who here has used Facebook ads a year ago, and they're a lot harder today than they were a year ago? Everyone here who's used Facebook ads will agree with that. Same thing with YouTube, right? YouTube is supposed to be this big thing with the pre-rolls and stuff. It's a lot harder now than it was in 2014, okay? Do you think it's gonna get easier or harder in 2019? Do you guys see on YouTube there are giant companies now switching from TV advertising budgets to internet? So now you'll see pre-rolls and you'll see Progressive Auto Insurance, right? You'll see movie trailers. You'll see all these big companies that are now taking the hundreds of millions of dollars they used to spend for TV ads, and they're testing about 20 to 40% of it to YouTube ads and Facebook ads. And do you think they're seeing an ROI on that more than they were from TV? Yes, it's not even close, right? So if your budget for ads is $15,000 a month, do you really think you're gonna be able to compete with Progressive Auto Insurance? They're coming for you, right? The last 15 years have been great on the internet because they've all been idiots on TV. They're smartening up. So yes, these ads will work, but honestly, your best bet, and this is a shift we're making in our own business right now, is, and I'll bet the farm on this, is that your best bet is, yeah, use ads to drive customers now, but also use ads to build your followings on each of these channels. Your Facebook following your Instagram following, and your YouTube following. Those are the big three. Don't worry about Snapchat. It's chatter. Okay. Twitter is just noise. And if you have Facebook, Instagram, and YouTube, and you have your followings there, and some new social media comes up, maybe Snapchat really blows up. Maybe there's a new one we don't know about, right? How hard is it going to be if you have a good relationship with them to move them all over to the other app too? It's not hard. I don't know if it's that easy. That looks very simple. But yeah, the idea of it's that simple, right? So, and then of course, if you have 1 million fans on Facebook, how good at marketing do you really have to be to come up with creative ways to get their friends and people like them to also follow your page as well? It's not that difficult. You have to be a little creative. It's not that difficult. You do giveaways, you do special things, you can share. There's all kinds of stuff you can do tactically. But social media is the future of customer acquisition, okay? Now, if you're doing local social media marketing for a brick and mortar business, in 2019, you're gonna be just fine, right? If you're doing social media marketing for all the chiropractors in Orange County and that's your domain, competition is not going to be too bad there, right? Because of the targeting, for instance, on Facebook, when you're just marketing for people in Orange County who are looking for back pain or whatever, and you're doing it for chiropractors, you're not gonna be competing against the big boys for that. If you have an online business, right, and you're marketing, let's say you're marketing YouTube pre-rolls and you're doing it to all males and females between the ages of 18 to 35, and that's your demographic, you're competing with Marvel Comics, right? You're competing with Subway. You're competing with McDonald's. And it's gonna be really, really difficult to do that. So now is the time to begin. We're gonna talk later about something I have that's pretty smart. It's called Fences and Ladders. But now is the time to start fencing in all the people who like you, could like your product, do like your product, could like your service, do like your service, people who just a year from now might like it then, and start fencing them in on your different social media channels, building that following there. Now is the time to start doing it. I'll just give you an example. Like yesterday, we opened up applications for a new social media business bootcamp that we're running with me and Bedros. Did you guys see the email about it yesterday? Did anyone see the email? Okay, that's actually proved my point. Really, no one saw the email? Did you not get it? If you didn't open, that's okay. Okay, you saw it, you didn't open it, yes?
I didn't have a chance to check.
You never chance. Interesting. Okay. So anyways, so we did that and I emailed it out. Okay? And the email was a link to a page where you watch a video and then you apply for the bootcamp. And then you're gonna get on the phone with Jad and we're gonna see if you're the right fit, whatever. After I sent out that email a couple hours after whatever, we were getting a good amount of applications. I wasn't blown away. I'm editing, I'm tweaking the copy. One thing I'll do, just so you guys know, it's just a little side, is anytime that new offer comes out, I'll always spend that first day looking at the hourly numbers to see how it's going. And if it's not going well, I will tweak the hell out of the copy, the positioning, the offer. I'll move things around until it's working, okay? It is always a work in progress. It is a sculpture. I'm sculpting always. So anyways, I'm doing that and it's doing well, it's not doing amazing. So I'm like, let me try Instagram. Let me see if I can do something there. And all I did was put up a story. I think it was just a 45-second story. I gave a little bit of value about social media, and then I did a call to action, swipe up, you go to the page, put your application in, see if you're right fit. We got more applications from an Instagram story than I did from email.
That one is
You saw it on Instagram, but you didn't see the email. It's one data point, but it is an interesting data point to support the argument that social media is the future of customer acquisition, right? It is so easy for someone to be engaged and having fun watching a story on their phone and then just swipe up. I don't have to go to a new page, no new tab. I just swipe up and now I'm on his application page and now I just type it in and boom, I'm done. Never had to walk away from my phone. People don't like putting their phone down. They'd rather keep it in their hands. They just would. So email didn't do that well, right? It did well, it didn't do that well. And my email list is bigger than my Instagram list, significantly bigger. But the response is much higher on social media, okay? So it's a big deal, all right? It is a very big deal. And one thing I have to say and warn everyone here, of course, is that most consumers rationalize social media and their use of social media as being social, right? When they have actual addictions to it. So they'll say, I'm just a social person, I'm connecting, I love no, they're actually addicted to it. If you go into the research for dopamine, serotonin, and oxytocin, you will see how it can be as addictive as cocaine or heroin. So if you're building your social media, that means you're gonna be on social media a lot, and I've seen a lot of peers of mine lose themselves in it. So just be aware of that. It's very easy to lose yourself in it because it's crazy out there. So how do we think about social media? What is the way to view it to extract the most value from it and to give the most value on the platforms as well? I think of it as kind of most people who are really are plugged into Facebook or Instagram, to them, that is the real world. Have you guys noticed this? How like what happens on Facebook is like the world, like that's what happened. Like we are here in a room going through this really badass shit, right? We're here physically. But for most people, a comment on Facebook is more real than what we're doing right now. Right? Because like if there was a random person in here who was just like a total 99% or just a duck who somehow ended up in a room full of eagles and they don't know how they got here, right? And they're listening to this. They could be here the whole day and they get great value. Maybe they start taking notes. That's fantastic. But if some point during the day, they were on their phone during a break and they checked Facebook and someone left a comment, and the comment, all it said was, have you gained weight? When they go to sleep tonight, what are they thinking more about? All the value they got out of here or that one comment? The comment. People misweight what happens on social media versus the real world because they're not conscious, they're not rational, they're half asleep. We go through the whole reasons why. But we have to remember we are not like that person. We're different. We approach social media different. They see it as the world. To me, each social media platform is just another house party. It's just a house party, okay? To them, it's the world. These different platforms, to me, they're just house parties. And when you go to a house party and you want to kind of be the center of attention, you want to have fun, we don't need to go through all the details and stuff, but the general idea is if you're fun and interesting and a source of good, positive energy, you're probably going to be a magnetic person at the party, yes or no? Right? So I just call it the fun and interesting rule. That's it. If on social media I can be fun, I can be positive, and I can be interesting, I'm going to do well there in terms of interacting with my customers, in terms of building relationships with them and building rapport with them. And here's the number one thing you don't want to be doing on social media, okay? Don't sell on social media. People are on social media, only reason, okay, at the end of the day, is because they're looking for something more fun. They're there for fun. It's a house party, right? You want to go to the best house party. You want to go one that's the most fun. That's it. If you can throw the best house party, the best Facebook house party, the best Instagram house party, you're gonna do amazing. If you can keep it fun while still selling, that's even better. That's a skill. You can do it if you're selling in a fun way and it's actually fun. It's not just like, yeah, I'm fun because I smiled a lot. Like if you can actually have fun doing it, you're great. You're gonna be able to do both. But if you're selling and it's not fun, no one's watching, no one's staying. It is too goddamn easy for them to go to someone else's Facebook page or go to someone else's Instagram page or Instagram story. They will leave yours so quickly if at any point they're just like, this isn't fun, right? If you're watching someone's story and you're bored with it, how easy is it to go to the next story? I don't have to swipe, I just tap. I literally just tap. I also realized I didn't know you could go backwards in the story. Did you know that? See, did you know that? Yeah. You just tap the left side. Brilliant, right? I was like, this is great. Because sometimes you're watching a story, you're like, wait, what'd they say? And you want to go, just hit the left side. Now you go back. Anyways, fun and interesting rule. It's about being fun. You're not selling. And at the end of the day, again, because it's not the world, because it's just a house party, if it's going dope on Facebook and it's going dope on Instagram and it's a dope-ass house party, that's great. But if there's some other new social media channel that opens up and they start throwing a better house party, like, don't be married to one platform, right? If there's a better house party going on Main Street and I'm on Elm, I'm not married to Elm. I will just leave Elm. I'll take my throne with me. I'll walk to the Main Street house party. I'll put my throne down in the center of the party, and I'll be the most fun and interesting person there. And that's how I'm gonna rock it. So, house parties versus the world. So we talked about which applications on social media I want you focusing on, right? YouTube, Facebook, Instagram are the big three. And all three of them, you can do ads right now, and all three of them, you can drive organic traffic. Do both, right? Do both. But play the long game with all of them. Don't just try and get people to follow you and then sell them immediately. Sell them occasionally, but if you're providing fun, then you're providing value. And if you're providing value, they're gonna stay. And that's really what we need to focus on, all right? So, let's talk a little bit about what to do and how to actually use these different social media platforms, all right? So the first thing we want to talk about is the difference between systems and guessing, all right? Here's how most people use their Facebook. Oh, I have 5 minutes. Let me post something. Boom, post. That's it. They're just guessing. They get some free time, they post. They have a couple minutes at night, they post. They remember, hey, I haven't posted in a couple of days, they post. All right, this is the guessing way of going about things. If you're gonna use social media successfully in your internet business, you have to approach it not as guessing, but with systems. Okay, meaning you have a system for your Facebook posting. You have a system for your Instagram posting. You have a system for your YouTube posting. Who here watches Gary Vee on YouTube? Okay. Almost everyone here, and one's like, yeah, I don't know, maybe a little bit. Okay. Do you think that he's just, I'm gonna make as many videos as I can and when they're done, we just throw them up? Or do you think there's like an Excel spreadsheet and like a team of people who are tracking everything and they know what video is gonna be on their YouTube 25 days from now? They know what time it's going up. They know what the general topic it should be about. They have a system for all of this, all right? So we need systems and not guesses. And a system, for instance, for Facebook is as simple as, here are the different posts that we make, here are the days that we post them, here are the times that we post them, here's when we have call to actions to different sales pages, here are the times that we don't. Here are the times where we use the post to drive engagement and get comments and get an interaction going, and here are the ones where it's just about likes. Like there is a purpose, there is a plan, there is a time. This stuff is a system, it's not guessing. So you need systems for your social media. How do you get the best systems possible, all right? This is how to copy the best for yourself, the best in your industry and peripheral industries for yourself without error, okay? Just a few steps. The first thing you do, and you should be doing, is follow people in your industry or in peripheral industries who are at the top. So if you're in the fitness industry, you want to look at who's the biggest people in the fitness industry online. Is it P90X and Beachbody? Is it is it people in the paleo industry? Is it Billy Blanks? Is it Vince Del Monte? Is it Kyle Leon? Is it Ben Pakulski? Is it Kino Body? Is it Brandon Carter? No, you should know all these things in your specific industry. And you want to follow the people in your industry, and you want to follow the people who are in peripheral industries. Okay, that's the other thing. So most people make the mistake of they only follow people who are just like them. So for instance, if I was only going to follow people in my industry, I would only follow the biggest people in personal development and entrepreneurship, and that would be it. But I want to follow in peripheral industries. So for instance, making money is a peripheral industry. So I'm going to follow the people in the top there. I'm going to watch what they're doing. I'm going to follow people in the real estate industry. I'm going to watch what they're doing. Okay, I'm going to follow people in the teaching marketing industry. I'm going to follow all these people in my own industry and peripheral industries. That's the first thing. I'm going to follow the most followed people, period. I follow DJ Khaled. I follow Kevin Hart. I follow Ariana Grande. Like, I follow these people, not because I know anything about them or what they do, but because I know that they have a ton of engagement on the different social media platforms. Does that make sense to everybody? So you want to see that. That's the first thing. The second thing is you don't want to just follow, you want to reverse engineer. Okay? And this is an exercise that we're actually going to do in a couple minutes. But you want to not just be like, oh yeah, I'll break down what they're doing a little bit so I have an idea. No, like you actually want to reverse engineer. You want to pull the thing apart. And this might mean literally pen and paper or an Excel spreadsheet. So if I was going to reverse engineer Gary Vaynerchuk's YouTube, I would go back the last 30 to 90 days, and I would just start, here's the date, here's what video he posted, here's what time he posted, here's what it was generally about, here's how many views it got, here's how many likes and dislikes it got. And then I do this for every single one, and what am I looking for? I'm looking for patterns. Right? I'm looking for patterns. And once I have, let's say, the last 60 days of everything he's done, I'll notice, like, okay, so he does his daily vlog every day, and then every Tuesday, Thursday, and Saturday, he pulls a 30-second clip from his daily vlog, and he makes that its own video, and he uploads that. That's interesting. And then on Sundays, he does an iPhone video from his house, and it goes up at 9 a.m. every morning. Well, what did I just get? I have Gary Vaynerchuk's YouTube system now. Okay? You want to do this for all the top people. You want to do this for YouTube, Facebook, and Instagram. Not because they're so fascinating, but because you need the systems for your own business. And once you have that, right, so let's say you do that for Gary and you do it for 4 other people and all the different channels, that's great. Which one do you choose? Which one do you start with? Make a hypothesis. Pick the one that you think is most relevant to what you're doing and model that. And say, I'm gonna test this out for 30 days and then you're gonna track the numbers, how many fans you had, how many subscribers you had, how many views you're getting, track all the key aspects, the key numbers you wanna know, and watch it over 30 days. And did the system increase it a lot? Did it increase it just a little bit? If you got great numbers, you got a great system, keep doing it, right? Keep going to the well until it runs out of water. And if it's not doing that well, start with a different system, test a different one, okay? So here is what I want everyone to do now, and if you're at home, I want you to do this as well. Does everyone here have a computer with them? He's got it, okay, perfect.
I don't.
You don't. You have a phone?
Yeah.
All right, you do that. All right, so here's what we're gonna do. I want you to do this for somebody's strategy who you want. I'm gonna give you 10 minutes to do this, all right? What I want you to do is either pick one person and pick one channel. So I don't know who it's gonna be for you, but pick that person. It might be their Facebook or their YouTube or their Instagram. And I want you to just reverse engineer the last 2 weeks to 4 weeks of everything that they've done. And by the time we're done, I want you to have a system of what they do. So when you're like, what am I gonna do on Facebook? How am I gonna build it? You don't really have to guess quite as much because you just reverse engineered this person. They basically created a system for you, and all you have to do now is execute. That makes sense to everybody? All right, so let's go 10 minutes right now. Let's pull up that strategy, and then we're gonna come back, we're gonna talk about it, and we're gonna wrap up this module. And you can do this anytime you want, dude. Look at anyone's stuff. Like, that's the thing about marketing, especially online, is if it's working, they can't hide it from you. If it's working, you can just go look at it. And you can just, all right, what are they doing? You can just create a system, reverse engineer it just like you did, and you can know what they're doing. If there's a pitch, a sales letter that's working really well, it's a video, you can get it transcribed. If you want to see someone's funnel, you can buy it and you can look at it's all right there, right? So, okay, good. So you picked up that on Tony's, there's a lot of authority, a lot of celebrities, all social proof that they're using, and you're going to use that more in yours, right? And you're going to test it, right? Right, that's the thing. We're not just like, we don't just assume because someone's doing it, it'll work for us. We test it as a hypothesis, and then if it works, great, we're gonna use that from now on. All right. What about you?
Me?
Yeah.
All right, I was looking at Casey Neistat.
Hey, Casey Neistat, all right.
Only went back like 30 days, 45 days.
Which one did you look at?
His Instagram.
Okay. I already know the answer to what you're gonna say, but go for it.
All right, so he like posts in like bursts. Like he starts posting, and then he waits a couple days, and then all of a sudden he goes like 3 or 4 days where he posts a lot. And most of the engagement he gets is when he puts pictures of New York. I guess that's it. That's the most people are from there, and then they like it because they can connect to that. Or
Well, so Casey, he gained a huge following on what platform?
YouTube.
On YouTube,
Videos,
right?
Yeah.
So if I was gonna study someone, I'm usually gonna go to their #1 platform.
Okay.
I follow him on Instagram, so I know he doesn't really use it.
Yeah.
So you're not gonna get a ton from watching him. But if you go to his YouTube and you reverse engineer, what is he doing there? You're gonna find some things. Okay? You're gonna find some things. Who else wants to share? Yeah.
I'm looking at Jake Paul. Logan Paul would be another one, good one. He's got 8.2 million followers. And what I'm finding with a lot of these people, I looked at Grant Cardone and some others, What I'm finding is the most engagement in terms of likes and comments is usually coming from personalized pictures. It's coming from lifestyle shots, less than, quotes. If you're in the picture, with the quote next to it, gets more likes than quotes without the picture of you in it. So people, at least on Instagram, are very personal oriented. They like seeing the people, and I've seen the same thing in my account. So whenever I post pictures of me, it gets a lot more engagements than when it's just a random quote or a picture of, a rainy day, a nice view, something like that. So that's what I'm seeing, and people like the personalized part of things like you were talking about earlier.
Awesome. And it's like little distinctions like that you wouldn't know on your own that quotes with pictures of me do better than just quotes, right? You just like, it's quotes. It's just quotes. People like quotes. Well, no. If they follow you because they like you. They want to see you. So yeah, that's super important. And Grant's really interesting on social media because he is not a systems person at all. He is a 24-hour-a-day addicted to his phone person, right? Every impulse he has to do something on a platform, he'll just do it, which is another way to go. I just don't want to, again, your internet business, what's the second point of the business? To fund and fuel your lifestyle, right? I don't want my life to be about me being on the phone all of the time, right? My lifestyle is a higher value than my social media. It just is. So I'm not just gonna go, like right now, like for instance, when we were on that break, I did a little Instagram, right? That wasn't planned, I just thought of that. So I do, even when you have a system, you do the impulse stuff sometimes. Like don't just do one or the other, but system in general is gonna be much, much better. Like 80% system, 20% impulse is kind of a good rule to follow. All right, so again, you can do that for everyone in your social media, everyone that you wanna be like, everyone you wanna follow. And one key thing to kind of look at and study, as a little pro tip, is, so there is a website, Brandon actually told me about it last week, Brandon Carter, was socialblade.com, right? Some of you probably already knew about it. I'd been there before, I just never looked at it. But the thing I like about it, for instance, is I can look at someone's YouTube and I can see when they experienced the most growth on their channel. So what I want to do is I want to zero in on the 30 or 60 or 90-day period. When was the catalyst moment? When was the thing where everything changed, everything shifted for them? So for instance, what I did is I looked at Gary V's, and I saw that Gary V in January 2016 had less than 200,000 YouTube subscribers. Z, how many subscribers does Gary V have today?
2 million.
On YouTube? So January 16, 200,000. July 17, 18 months later, has 750,000, give or take. He's been on YouTube since like 2013. So the first 3 to 4 years, 200,000. Last 18 months, gained an extra 550,000. Don't you think it might be worth your time to go look at, hey, what did he do around January 16? What change did he make that accelerated his growth to such a high peak? So I did that. I went on Social Blade and I did that, and I saw, what did he do? He started doing a daily V in January 2016. Literally the moment his channel started taking off was the moment he started doing a daily vlog video every single day. So does that mean I'm gonna start doing a daily vlog? Well, no. Again, lifestyle. I don't want to be on camera all the time. I just don't want that. But doing a video a day, something that they can expect, something that's interesting, we can model the type of videos, the general idea that there's different people and music, like you can learn from that. There's just little nuggets you can pull out and you can model and use for yourself. So I really like looking at when is the period of time where people grew the most on a certain social media and really studying the little shifts and changes that they made in that period of time. So I'm gonna give you just a few different good brands and companies to study on different social media platforms that you can look at. There's literally hundreds more. I just made a list of about 5 or 6 that you may or may not know. One that does really well is Paleo Hacks on Facebook, which is a really big paleo website. They do a really good job on their Facebook. Grant Cardone, as you know, does really well on social media. There's someone else in fat loss who's doing incredibly well. I just know this because we have mutual friends. Her name is Danette May, D-A-N-E-T-T-E, and then last name is M-A-Y, May, in fat loss. And what she does is she does these fat loss challenges, these 4-week and 6-week challenges for her customers and people who follow her on social media on Facebook. And the way she sells them isn't with a video sales letter. She goes Facebook Live does like a 15-minute Q&A in like a good setting. She's positive, she's happy, and then she makes a pitch at the end. And then what she does is she goes and she promotes that live across Facebook. And when you promote a Facebook Live on Facebook, it's actually cheaper than if you're promoting just a random like sponsored post. Right? People like the live because it feels like it's live. It's a really good technique. It's a good tactic. You wouldn't know that if you didn't follow people in peripheral industries. So that's someone. Gary Vee is up there. And then two guys I like who I think just do social media well from a branding perspective is Dwayne Johnson and Kevin Hart. You guys know The Rock just kills it on social media. He could probably run for president in 12 years and win. Just the way he positions himself on social media. You know, every picture, he's like leaving a hotel, and instead of like talking about what he's doing, he's talking about the service at the hotel and how great the people are there, right? He loves at the Beverly Wilshire, just the best people there, right? What a wonderful community, right? He's already talking like a president. So it's just interesting, okay? And then finally, as we wrap up here, don't be afraid to test things that aren't you. Even when you guys were looking at other people's social media just now, did any of you ever say to yourself for a moment, that's interesting, like I wouldn't do that, but I could do something like that? Did anyone have that thought? One in the back. Okay, I certainly have. If that's the thought that you're getting, that's interesting. I see that's working for him or her, but that's not me. Like I wouldn't do that. I might do something a little different. Shut up. Put the idea of you on pause for a second and test it. Okay? Test things that aren't you. They might work. And if they work, guess what? Now you do those things. But if you have this idea that it's not me, so I won't do it, then you're never going to find out. Okay? Don't be afraid to test things that aren't quote unquote you. So that'll wrap up second cause of a 7-figure internet business. Let's get to number 3 right now, products and services.